Welcome to Marketing Matchmaker, the show where coaches, consultants, service providers, and business owners learn the inside secrets to growing your business, increasing your revenue, and scaling your impact without sacrificing your freedom. If you're ready to unlock the strategies that will help you attract your ideal clients, refine your message, and build a business that truly supports the life you want, then stick around because today's episode is packed with insights and action items you need to take your business to the next level. Let's dive in. Hey there, welcome back to Marketing Matchmaker. Can you believe it? We are already in the final quarter of this year. It seems like just yesterday we were rolling into January. I think this year has gone faster than almost any other year. And I also have to say that October happens to be my favorite time of the year for so many varied reasons. It's my birthday month. I happen to love Halloween because who born in October doesn't love Halloween? And of course, I love the fall season and all of the things that come. October is the beginning of the holiday season. But the thing that I love to do during this time of year that is focused solely on my business, and one of the things that I get most excited about is planning. There is something about wrapping up the year and mapping out what comes next that really gets me excited and helps me to close out this year strong and just really diving into it. If you're anything like me, it is really easy to get caught up in the day-to-day grind of your business and sometimes lose sight of the progress you've made over the last 10-ish months. Here's the thing though. The fourth quarter is the perfect time to pause, to reflect, and to plan so that next year can be even more successful than this year was. Because I am such a planner at heart, I decided to break this topic down into 2 episodes because there is just so much to cover. In this first episode, we're going to dive into the 3 things you need in order to have a successful plan for next year. And in the next episode, we're going to dive deeper into building out those solid marketing strategies and timelines that will help you to execute those goals. So make sure to plan to dive into both if you're serious about setting the stage for an epic year ahead and finishing out this quarter strong. Honestly, my family often jokes that I always get what I want. But the truth is I don't get everything I want. Nobody does. I do, however, get a lot of what I plan for. And that's exactly what I want for you and your business. By the end of these 2 episodes, you're not only going to have a clear vision for 2025, you're also going to have an action plan to make it happen. So let's dive in to part 1 of creating this marketing action plan to set you up for success for next year. Before we dive into what's next, we really need to take a good look at what's behind us. Way too often, entrepreneurs operate like they're throwing spaghetti at the wall, or they operate off of feelings and hunches. They launch campaigns, they try new platforms, and they just hope that something sticks. It's really easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of trying to do everything and be everything everywhere. But here's the truth. There is not a way to make smart decisions about your future without first understanding what worked and, just as importantly, what didn't this last year. This isn't just about knowing your numbers, although that's incredibly important. It's also about getting clarity on the strategies that made a real impact and those that were more of a distraction. When you take the time to stop and review, you will stop that cycle of guesswork and really start making intentional moves. That is what's going to help you grow and scale to unprecedented levels. So, I want to talk about a few things that are critical for you to understand when you're starting to make that plan for your marketing. And that's reviewing your metrics, because your numbers are going to tell you the honest story. It's not that gut feeling. It's not that belief that something worked. Understanding your numbers really do help you to understand the reality of what your business is, where it's sitting, what worked and what didn't. The first metric I want you to pay attention to is your sales performance and marketing campaigns. How did your whole business how did your business as a whole perform in terms of revenue? Did you meet your targets or did you fall short? And the really good thing about knowing that right now, we're not done with the year. You still have an opportunity to hit those goals, but not if you don't know where you're standing right now. Analyzing the success of your marketing campaigns by comparing your initial objectives with the actual outcomes of those objectives will help you to understand if that marketing campaign really worked or not. And knowing which campaigns drove the most sales and which kind of fell flat will help you to avoid wasting time and money on ineffective strategies next year. Now, that's not to say that everything that you learn will be applicable next year, because we never know what the world is going to look like. And it definitely gives you a solid foundation to start from so that you're better able to map out what can work in the coming year. The next metric is your conversion rates. I want you to really look at your marketing campaigns and take an honest look at these leads. Are you generating leads that are actually converting into customers? Let's be honest. You can build a huge audience. You can have millions of followers, but that's not really what we're looking for. We're looking for millions of buyers, or maybe just 10. If your leads, your audience are not converting into buyers, it's time to step back and really understand what your messaging is to attract the wrong people. Which strategies are really turning your audience into buyers and which ones are falling flat? Knowing your conversion rates will help you to pinpoint where your messaging or maybe your offer might need some tweaking along the way. Then there's your engagement rates. This most often has to do with things like social media or your email or maybe your podcast. It's really knowing whether your content is resonating with your audience. So review your engagement metrics, your likes, your comments, your shares, your email open rates, your click-through rates. The higher the engagement means your audience is connecting with your brand, while the lower the engagement might mean that it's time to revisit your content strategy. You might not be quite hitting that mark. And the last thing I want you to really be aware of in your metrics is your customer feedback, because that is the key to knowing whether or not your business is actually a business, right? It's that human element. What are your customers saying about your products, your services, your solutions, your overall brand experience working with you? That positive feedback gives you insight into what you're doing right, and negative feedback, although it's so often hard to hear, is really a gold mine to help you improve and learn what you can do better. Are there reoccurring complaints or praises that can help you guide your product, service, or solution, your business in general, to better offerings, to better services? Understanding your customers' feedback, really being willing to listen to it, will help you to establish a better experience later, which means that those clients or potential clients rave about you. And that's what we're looking for, right? We're looking for those experiences that get you referrals from people who have worked with you in the past, word of mouth. So when you dig into the data, I want you to really step back and look at what those numbers are telling you. Some of the key questions that you can ask yourself: what strategies brought in the most leads? And did those leads convert into sales? So what worked in terms of lead generation? Was it an ad campaign? Was it a lead magnet? Was it a partnership or a webinar? Pinpoint what really brought people into your sales funnel and converted them into buyers, which will really be able to help you amplify your marketing efforts next year. Also, look at what channels drove the most traffic and sales. Are you on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and LinkedIn and every other social media platform out there? Step back for a minute, take a look at it, see which ones are actually bringing in audiences, leads, and buyers. Also, look at your email marketing campaigns. Are there ones that generated more conversions than others? Really pay attention to how people are connecting with you. It will help you be able to connect with them at a better level next year. And lastly, what did you try this year that completely flopped? The next question is, why did it flop? Not everything is going to be a home run. Not everything is going to work. And that is okay, because marketing is about learning. It is about being curious and really understanding what your audience wants and needs. The important part is understanding why certain strategies didn't work. Was it poor timing? Was it the wrong audience? Was it the wrong messaging? Figuring out the why behind those numbers really makes it so that you can avoid making those same mistakes again next year. Diving into your metrics and your numbers not only gives you a clearer view of your business's strengths and weakness, it also allows you to make data-driven decisions for the upcoming year instead of throwing spaghetti at the wall. You get to create and build a solid foundation and also know where to double down or where to pivot. In the end, this whole review process is about learning from the past so that you can make more effective, targeted actions in the future. So take some time, that CEO time, dive into your data and get clear on how you can make next year better than this year. Okay, now that you've reviewed where you've been, it's time to get crystal clear on where you're going. This is all about setting goals. Think of your goals as a GPS for your business. Without them, you are likely driving in circles, hoping to arrive at success by chance. And I will tell you, hope is never a strategy. And with clear, actionable goals, you can really become laser focused on what exactly it is you need to do to get there, to get where you want to go. Goals give you a direction. It gives you motivation. It gives you a roadmap for all of your business, but especially for your marketing. Instead of being reactive, just doing whatever comes up, you'll be intentional with every action, ensuring it leads you closer to your ultimate vision. But here's the thing. It is great to have big, audacious goals for next year. And you can't get there overnight. That's why it is essential to balance your long-term goals with your short-term goals. Long-term goals are your ultimate destination. And short-term goals are those stepping stones that keep you moving in the right direction. So your long-term goals are those major milestones you want to achieve by the end of the year. Think big, whether it's reaching a certain revenue target or launching a new product or program or expanding your brand to a new market. I've got a coach whose favorite saying is, if your goals don't scare you, they're not big enough. So make sure you're reaching for those long-term goals, that they're a little bit scary and yet realistic. And then we pivot to those short-term goals, because that long-term goal needs to be broken down into little steps. These are your mini wins that really help you to stay on track throughout the year. Breaking down your long-term goals into smaller, manageable tasks give you momentum throughout the year. For example, if your long-term goal is to increase your revenue by 30%, a short-term goal could be to launch a new marketing campaign in Q1 or boost your email list by 10% over the next quarter. Things like that, those steps that are going to help you achieve your long-term goal, is what you want to focus on in that short-term goal area. When you're looking at your goals, it is important that you're looking at multiple aspects, especially when it comes to marketing. So things like revenue targets, be specific on your revenue for next year. Then break it down by quarter or month, or as one of my coaches always said, by day. This can help you understand your sales goals you need to hit to stay on track. Also, focus on goals for your audience growth, whether that's building your email list or growing your social media following or increasing website traffic. Make sure that you have measurable goals for audience expansion. Without an audience, it is incredibly difficult to sell. Your audience is the lifeblood of your business, because that's where your buyers are. And then look at your content creation. Plan out how much content you need to produce to stay relevant, to engage with your audience, whether it's blog post or podcast or social media or video content or webinars or whatever. Set goals around the type and frequency and purpose of your content. Make sure that you are focused in this aspect of your business. Will make it easier long term to hit those larger goals. And the last thing revolves around launching. If you have a new product or a new service or a new program or a course that you're wanting to bring to market next year, set specific launch dates and timelines. Prepare the launch now so that you can start your pre-launch marketing and your follow-up, so that you're able to ensure that you're not rushing or missing opportunities throughout the year. I promise you, if you plan out your launches here for all of next year, it will make it so much easier for you to have successful launches. All of these goals also have to be smart. It's not enough to simply have the goals. They need to be specific so that you can clearly define what you want to accomplish. They need to be measurable. You have to know how to track your success, whether it's hitting that revenue goal or growing your email list by 100 people or your audience. You must be able to measure your goal. They have to be achievable. Let's be honest. We all want to hit huge goals, but sometimes if we set them outside of what is realistic for what you can actually reach, we often set ourselves up for failure. So setting realistic goals that are still a stretch and also something that's achievable will help you to actually get there. Make sure that your goals are relevant. Make sure that they align with your overall business strategy, marketing, life goals. If those goals aren't relevant to you, then you're never going to achieve them. Setting a goal for someone else is not something that you're going to achieve. They have to be self-initiated and self-maintained. And lastly, make sure they're time-bound. Give them a deadline. Each goal with a deadline creates urgency and focus around that goal. It is just like your marketing in general, where you want to create that sense of urgency. You want to do it within your own goals. When you set clear, actionable goals for next year, you're not just hoping for success, you're planning for it. These goals become your compass, your guide to every decision within your business, everything you're saying yes or no to. And it helps to keep you on track. So no matter what challenges come up or opportunities arrive, you're able to grab that GPS and really reset your destination so that you're able to make next year everything that you want it to be. And lastly, I also want to add in this little caveat of things, because I've seen too many business owners fall into the trap of jumping from one tactic to the next, hoping that something sticks. They throw everything at the wall, constantly pivoting between platforms and strategies without taking a moment to really ask themselves, is this working or is this not working? They become so reactive to where they think they're at in their business that they stop making strategic decisions. So instead of reacting to trends or copying what others are doing, be strategic about your business. Look at what worked this year. What brought you results? Understand that this will help you to make intentional, data-driven decisions for next year. And the key here is to build a solid marketing strategy that aligns with both your goals and your audience. By doing this, you are setting yourself up for a more focused, a more stable growth pattern, rather than chasing every shiny object that comes your way. All right, I know I've thrown a lot of information your way today, and that is why this episode turned into a two-parter. Next episode, we're going to dive even deeper, because while we've hit the high level of how to create a strategy, I want to also give you those tactical, nitty-gritty pieces of building a strategic marketing plan for next year. Trust me, you're gonna want to listen to next week's episode, because there are going to be actionable steps that will help you to turn your goals into reality. So, this week, take your notes, look back at this year, what went well, what didn't, and get ready for part 2, where we bring everything together with that marketing strategy. Until then, take some time to think about what you want your goals to be this next year. And if you're struggling with this, head over to yourmarketingmatchmaker.com and sign up for a free strategy session. I promise you will walk away with at least one actionable item to grow your business, increase your revenue, and scale your impact. I'll see you on the next episode. Thank you for listening to the Marketing Matchmaker podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love to hear your feedback. Please head over to Apple, iTunes, and leave a review so we can hear from you. And if you are a coach, consultant, or online course creator who are looking to grow your business, increase your income, and scale your impact, connect with me at yourmarketingmatchmaker.com. I look forward to hearing from you.